I'm going to try and fit a week's worth of EA's bullshit into a single video, simply because it kept piling up while I was working on other videos, and I'm a one-man operation who unfortunately has stuff he has to do in his real life, so it's kind of hard to keep up, and I do apologize, because people send me this stuff and they're like, what the fuck, Gundam? Make sense of all this. And I can't. Actually, I can't, I take that back. And the underlying theme is clear as day. EA doesn't give a single fuck. They don't give a slight fuck. They don't give a quarter of a fuck. They've got enough money and power to ride this shit out, and they're going to try. What we're experiencing right now with EA is just straight up Wolves of Wall Street bullshit. They know they've got money and power, and people will forget. So if they stay strong and hold fast, they won't have any issues. Like in time, it'll just go right back to business as usual. Just right now it's a little bumpy, people are waking up, but don't worry, they'll never break the conditioning. They're too busy being sheeple, our good little consumers. Who gave them the blue pill? Go back to sleep, Neo. Things looked almost remotely interesting on Tuesday the 28th of November when CNBC put out the article, EA's Day of Reckoning is here after Star Wars game uproar, $3 billion in stock value wiped. A nice little blurb here. Leading gaming YouTube personalities believe EA will be forced to change its practices after Star Wars Battlefront microtransactions controversy. Yeah, no. EA even recently put out something saying they're not backing down and they will bring back microtransactions for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Talk about sheer defiance. You know, I see that sort of defiance in the dog, in Pas's dog Chuchi, who unfortunately is with me. The little bastard will look me in the face and I'll go, no Chuchi, don't you do it. And then Chuchi's like, I work for EA, suck a dick. And then takes a shit. And then the dog runs off, looks back over a little shoulder like, you're fucking right, I did it. That's exactly what EA just did to the gaming community. After communal and political backlash EA received over Battlefront 2, the industry at large is going to have to walk back its loot box plans a little. Jim Sterling writes in an email. Also, they contacted Jim Sterling, but not Gundam. Good move. I couldn't pen a good email. There's no way I could write an email about EA and not at least say fuck 1,000 times. Electronic Arts shareholders are running for the hills this month, and for good reason. The company's profitability business model is now at risk after an angry gamer's revolt over aggressive in-game money-making strategies in Star Wars Battlefront 2. EA stock is down 8.5% compared to its SP of 502% gain, wiping out $3.1 billion of shareholder value. Its competitors Take-Two and Activision Blizzard shares are up 5%. Don't worry, they're next. Like when Take-Two puts microtransactions in, nah, they won't. Take-Two is probably smart enough to see how things went and they'll stick to the whole, just give us money for in-game money and then you can have your gold carriage and gold saddle in Red Dead Redemption 2. And the console gamers will be like, good, I can't wait for it. I cannot wait to have my gold 6-shooters. And of course DSP will be playing that shit. That's another story. I'd like to take this time to apologize to any hardcore console gamers I've offended. I know that my words were harsh during the Xbox One X PUBG 30 FPS debacle, and the Xbox One X being more powerful than a 1080 debacle. I know some of you can't live in reality, and it's very painful, such as Dealer Gamer, who honestly believes that a pair of good headphones destroys any advantage of 60 FPS gaming might give you. With facts like these, who could question such sound logic? No wonder EA is milking you bastards. We were underwhelmed by the sales through for Star Wars Battlefront 2 over Black Friday's weekend, which follows the commercial launch for the game, says Stifel analyst Drew Crum. Politicians are vowing to take action to protect underage children from gaming monetization practices. Fantastic. Once you get the government in gaming, it's going to get worse, trust me. And it's the perfect platform for anybody who wants to make themselves a bit more known in the world. I mean, fuck, let's face it. Anyone who's a politician now is probably thinking, I could be president. I mean, Trump is president. And frankly, they're all right. Well, it doesn't take a journalist or a genius to see that EA's greed was nothing short of Titanic. So Titanic that it became a Titanic failure, and they've screwed the industry for a little bit. Microtransactions might actually take a hit for a short period of time. Now the funny thing is, people were rejoicing. A lot of people made videos about this. Everyone's like, yeah, EA's finally getting theirs. But really, it didn't fucking matter. Nothing stopped it. EA's practices were so shitty with the game that there was a large number of gamers who were using rubber bands and little apparatuses on their console controllers so that they could keep getting credits in the game even when they weren't playing, because it's that much of a grind. As we all know, Star Wars Battlefront 2 doesn't reward you credits for skill, they reward you credits for time spent in the fucking game. As if that was an indication enough of bad practices. Now ironically, the same day that EA stock took a 3.1 billion hit, EA explained why Battlefront 2 didn't focus on cosmetic loot boxes. It's one of the dumbest fucking excuses you'll ever hear. You probably already know because this shit has been covered by everyone and their fucking mother. And they said, I quote, "The one thing we're very focused on, and they are extremely focused on, is not violating the canon of Star Wars," Jorgensen said at the Credit Suzy Annual Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference. "It's an amazing brand that's been built up over many, many years. And so if you did a bunch of cosmetic things, you might start to violate the canon, right? Darth Vader in white probably doesn't make sense versus in black. Not to mention, you probably don't want Darth Vader in pink. No offense to pink, but I don't think that's right in the canon." Alright, right here it's one of the... I don't know who wrote this for him, but I hope they are fired. It's fucking stupid. There's a ton of pink Darth Vader cosplays. It's the Hello Kitty Darth Vader. Is it canon? No. But what the fuck Disney is doing and what the fuck has been done to Star Wars isn't canon. What the fuck has been done to Star Wars Battlefront 2 isn't canon. Why in God's green earth is Rey having a lightsaber duel with Darth Maul? I mean, really, you don't even chronologically have your shit straight. Stormtroopers aren't even right. Like, through all the everything, even like levels from Empire Strikes Back and A&H, instead of it being an A&H Stormtrooper or an Empire Strikes Back Stormtrooper or a fucking Return of the Jedi Stormtrooper, they're all Return of the Jedi. Even the blasters the Stormtroopers use are all Return of the Jedi E11 blasters. There are different blasters for every fucking movie. But these cocksuckers didn't bother. They just went to LucasArts, they saw like a Return of the Jedi suit. If anything, it was probably a Return of the Jedi Special Edition suit. Oh my god, Gundam knows too much about these goddamn Star Wars things. I'm turning off the video now, faggot. The Special Edition suits were basically Return of the Jedi suits that were lacklusterly painted to look like sand troopers, and then new video was shot and shoehorned into Special Edition Star Wars movies. So basically, you're even seeing the wrong version of Sand Troopers, because Sand Troopers were only in A New Fucking Hope. So the armor is wrong, the paint scheme of the Stormtroopers wrong, the backpacks are wrong. You fuckers don't give a shit about canon. They just scanned whatever the fuck was there and said, it's Star Wars. You know, it wouldn't have hurt EA if they actually paid attention and maybe hired me. You know, maybe you should have got me as a game changer, you dumb cocksuckers, instead of Stone Mountain. Stone motherfucking Mountain. Oh, don't get me started. Long story short, they should have hired me. I would have looked at the shit and I would have said, you know, there's some things wrong here, guys. Oh, what's that? These blasters for the Stormtroopers, they're wrong. These Gribblies on the side barrel on the left, that's wrong. This is all Return of the Jedi. This is Empire Strikes Back timeline. Why is this here? Why are the Stormtroopers' grills black like that? That's the wrong design. That's all Return of the Jedi. Did you guys forget about A&H and Empire Strikes Back? And they probably look at me and go, get him out of the Game Changers right fucking now. You get the hell out! And they drag me out of there as I start screaming, you motherfuckers! The Stormtroopers' backpacks for the Sand Troopers wrong! It's wrong! Even the Darth Vader isn't chronological. You know, they could have did something cool here. Now I'm on a whole different tangent, so fuck me, and I'm sorry to anyone who's listening to this. Like, if they gave a fuck, like, cosmetic loot boxes would have been better than what EA did. No doubt about it. If they did cosmetic loot boxes for Darth Vader, it would have been ripping. Because then you could have had a New Hope Darth Vader, which is my personal favorite one. He has the slightly damaged armor, the chip paint on his cheek, and the Widow's Peak on his dome. He looks like he's ready to kill a motherfucker. Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, pristine, beautiful, glossy armor that shimmers. Would have been cool. There's so much they could have done here. So much. I'd be happy if I could have opened a loot box and have like a customized A&H Hero Stormtrooper. What the fuck? The A&H Hero Stormtrooper is the Stormtrooper that Han Solo and Luke Skywalker wore. They're very distinguishable because their helmets have a lower brow peak, which looks like the stormtroopers pissed off, and had bubble lenses. Whereas to all the normal stormtroopers or the stunt/B helmets had just green film. Oh my god, he really does know a lot about Star Wars. What a faggot. But I digress. I could go on for years about, or not years, I could go on for hours about this dude, nitpicking everything they did wrong. So this excuse is fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. And also Disney apparently was in on it. These dirty, rotten fuckers. Should have known. Should have known Disney would sit there and, like, when it blew up, Disney left EA to hang out and dry. Odds are Disney won't remove the license from EA now that I know that Disney was involved with the microtransactions. Because how can you remove the license from them when you told them to do this shit, when you were okay with it? They were in line with it. They thought everyone's dumb enough to do it. So fuck Disney too. Oh my god. I'm not even gonna get into it. Not even, let's just move the hell on before I talk forever about this one issue. Now, EA was also making excuses with the whole customized look garbage, which is bullshit considering their last game did it, right? Now, here's the funny thing. On the very next day, literally, the very next day after EA put out this statement that they couldn't do loot box looks and stuff like that, the game was data mined on PC, exposing that there are multitudes of cosmetic outfits for stormtroopers and clone troopers, rebels, etc. Which is cool because it's something they should have did in the first place. But it's locked in the way in the game right now. But from the looks of the character models and everything, they're perfect. Like, this doesn't look like it was something that was just a mistake or they just canned it because it didn't look right or wasn't any good. It was there from the beginning, which leads me to surmise that this is something that's going to be introduced later on. And I was assuming they're probably going to add it to loot boxes when they bring loot boxes back, to give people more of an incentive to use loot boxes, 1, and 2, they'll sit there and go, now we have cosmetics and it isn't going to affect your overall game experience. And then people might actually go with it and EA can make some money back. That would have been the move. I'm rubbing my nose right now. That's like an insider thing. But you can't see me. Now they're exposed for this. On top of that, in the Reddit AMA, one of the few questions they actually answered was they were working on adding cosmetic looks to characters. Bing, bang, boom, EA's caught bullshitting us once again. Sad. Fucking sad. And I really wish they fucking get the goddamn stormtroopers right. Oh my god, every day. Then on the 30th, the next day, Visceral Star Wars game was too linear for today's gamers, said EA. Back in October, Visceral was officially closed. The studio that developed the Dead Space series 1 and 2, and then EA forced them to do microtransactions and all this other shit in 3 and ruined it. Had a single player focused Star Wars game. Obviously, as we all know, EA killed Visceral. And it was then later exposed by a journalist from Kotaku, whose name eludes me right now, that it seemed as though EA got rid of Visceral so they could free up enough money to acquire Respawn Entertainment. Of course, they refused to comment on this, but everything showed, it was pretty clear that that seemed to be the game plan. All the pieces were set in motion and the die was cast. EA made their choice and their move. Simply because I'm pretty sure they figured they could get away with it. It's fucking EA. And I quote, over the last 5 or 6 years, Visceral Games had shrunk in size. It was down to about 80 people, which is subscale in our business. And the game they were making was actually being supported by a team in Vancouver and the team in Montreal. Ooh, I hope that wasn't that bastardized version of BioWare. Because of the subscale nature, and we were trying to build a game that really pushed gameplay to the next level. Yeah, because EA always does that. I mean, look at FIFA, look at Madden. Every time the game just reaches new levels. And as we kept reviewing the game, it continued to look like a style of game, a much more linear game that people don't like as much today as they did 5 years ago or 10 years ago. How the fuck would you know? You assholes keep doing games as service bullshit. And here's the game that's the service. You buy Madden 2015, guess what? Madden 2016's out. Your 15's no good anymore. Oh, Madden 2017's out. Come on, faggot. Don't be behind. Madden 18, what is this? What are you doing? How are you not up on this? Game every year, motherfuckers. They bought the Madden franchise, man. I remember when 2K made decent football games, and that's when like football games are interesting even to me, because there's competition and EA had to actually try to outdo 2K games with football games, and then EA was like, we're fucking sick of actually having to try. Buy the rights. Good work, you fucking assholes. That's what happens with monopolies, people. Oh my god, sometimes. OC3D, man, I don't know. There's so many typos in OC3D, it's fucking insane. I'm gonna read this as I see it just so you get an idea what I deal with sometimes. Will me make the game in a different style at a different studio? Will we use parts of the game in our other games? We're trying to go through that today. We haven't had to do this very often. We try to do it as early as possible in the game's design, and we probably let this go a little further. But I'm a believer in sunk cost. You've got to cut the bridge when you realize you can't really make a lot of money in something. So that's the decision we made. And most recently, yesterday, EA's UFC Ultimate Team is built on pay-to-win loot boxes. So it's Star Wars Battlefront 2 all over again in UFC's Ultimate Team. Now, the funny thing about sports games is this. It's been going on forever. FIFA is the only one I really pay attention to. And, well, NBA 2K18 did this shit too, but we're on EA right now. Overall, sports games do this. It kind of flies under the radar. Like, I don't know why people support FIFA. I don't know why. Because it's exploitative bullshit. But if nobody's willing to fight for their cause, I guess fuck it, right? Although EA tried to argue against its Battlefront 2 microtransactions being pay to win, if the full retail release of UFC 3 retains the same system as the beta when it makes its way to store shelves in February 2018, there's no denying this is the case in the Ultimate Team mode. Starting out with an average fighter that I also obtained from a pack, as each fighter can only be unlocked by way of finding them in the loot box. My strikes, grapples, and takedown moves each barely did a lick of damage to my opponent. Only after forking out coins for loot boxes I was able to increase my stats, but even with low level cards equipped, the damage I could inflict on my opponent was pitiful. Oh my god, it gets worse. Taking my AI opponent to the ground, I landed between 20 and 30 solid hits to his head, a sequence that would have been stopped just a few shots in if playing in the game's normal modes. However, even after enduring a lengthy battering, my opponent emerged relatively unscathed, even getting back up into his feet and continuing to fight. I was required to take him down a further 2 times and repeat this process until finally, mercifully, he went unconscious and gave me a KO victory. This ridiculous battle occurred with a variety of ability cards already equipped, along with a couple boost perks that again can only be obtained via loot boxes. It's easy to see how players putting a few $100s into UFC 3 would emerge with an immediate advantage, and one that would surely see them emerge victorious against any rivals with a fighter such as mine. This is the case of players being able to pay for minor advantages. My fighter was so hilariously underpowered that a light breeze could have knocked him over, if not for easy AI. So, once again, you know, this is kind of, just reading this is amazing, really. It's amazing. It's amazing. You see, EA taking that stock drop doesn't mean shit. This happened. The stock prices dropped almost a week ago. The beta for this game came out a day ago, and EA didn't pull shit back. They didn't go to the developer and say, bail out on the microtransactions, or make it easier, make something cheaper, tweak something so we don't look like fucking Satan. No, these motherfuckers are like Stalin with developers. They're fucking Stalin. For those who's not getting the reference I'm making to World War II, Stalin told soldiers, no matter what the fuck happened, there was no retreating. You went out there and you fought to the death, and if you retreated, you were shot. That's basically what EA's doing with these devs. This is basically what EA's doing. They're not going to give a step back, not an inch. They lost the money on Battlefront. They're not losing it on their sports games. This is ridiculous. A 100% pay-to-win mechanic. These motherfuckers are chasing the proverbial whales. Whales are what the industry calls people who are willing to spend hundreds if not thousands of dollars on a game for microtransactions. And they don't give a fuck what bridge they burn down. They don't give a fuck who they shit and piss on right in your mother's goddamn eyes on her deathbed. if they figured the guy next to your mother in the hospital would toss him $100 because it gave him a laugh. I just don't know what the fuck's up with gaming anymore. Now I take that back. I know exactly what's up with gaming. The industry for gaming is becoming corpulent. This is exactly what the music industry was like before Napster hit. You know, I remember music CDs were like $20, $30 and concert tickets were like fucking $100 or something. It was crazy. It was ridiculous, and people paid because there's no alternative. And the music industry kept making more and more money, and they kept doing ridiculous shit, special versions of the same motherfucking album that had an extra track, all this other garbage, $5 to buy a single. Oh God, fuck EA, dude. Like, really, fuck them. I hope like the hammer falls on them, and the only way it can happen is if we band together. That's it. There is no other way. We are at war. They see you as a number on a graph. They also think you're fucking stupid. They think that you're hopped up on McDonald's and Saskatchewan sauce, so much so that you can't see the writing on the wall and think, I just paid $60 for a game and now I have to spend at least $25 to $30 every month to make my character somewhat viable? Fuck them, man. If you have any semblance of willpower and a game has this sort of stuff, don't buy it. Don't buy it. But then again, most of the people I'm talking to already know this shit. The people who'd have to hear me would be the ones who buy, like, you know, sports games like FIFA and fucking UFC and Madden. But they don't watch this stuff. They don't listen to me. They're too busy with this garbage. Getting fucking raped. Not even thinking twice about it. Buying Monster Energy and expensive sneakers. Not just one pair, a couple pairs of expensive sneakers. Making sure they never get a speck of dirt on them. And if they do, they buy another pair of sneakers. Motherfuckers putting themselves in debt just to seem like they're rich. Buying motherfucking games and paying for this sort of shit. You know what? I'm done with this. I'm gonna go watch Dragon Ball Z Super. I know I'm a fucking weeb. You don't have to rate, comment, subscribe this shit. Because it's depressing, really. It's like, it's infuriating. It's shocking. It's salacious. But not in the good way, the bad way. Rate, comment, subscribe if you so choose to, if not the hell of it. But the more of you that follows me, the louder my voice gets in the industry, and it's becoming obvious companies are noticing I exist. So my future may be quite odd, because I don't have a huge community behind me to make myself impervious to anything. So thank you for your time, if you even made it this far, because this video is way longer than I ever want videos to be, unless it's a gaming video. And thanks. I guess I'll catch you guys later. Adios, bichachos. And above all, fuck microtransactions, fuck corporate greed, break the conditioning. You're not a sheep. You're a person. You're not your job. You're not the console you play on. You're not your favorite fucking energy drink. You're not a statistic on a chart. You're not a goddamn cash cow. Give it the back. Down. 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 Heal. Heal. Bad dog. No. No. Stop trying to kill me to Glenn Danzig. Who the fuck do you think you are? Me, look at your fucking legs. Don't you lick me, god damn it. Ah! No! No, get off me. Hey, be good. Oh, you little dickhead.